If you're a researcher, you know the feeling. The hard work is done, the paper is finally written, and then this huge, stressful question just hangs over your head. So today, we're going to dig into that exact question, looking at it from a fresh angle that might just change how you see scientific publishing.
This is it, right? The question that keeps us up at night. It's not just about picking a journal, is it? It feels like this one choice could make or break your entire career, your reputation, everything. And the pressure to get it right is absolutely immense. And hey, if you're feeling that pressure, trust me, you are not alone. Valdir Fernandez hit the nail on the head back in 2022, calling this a real challenge that's getting more intense and is genuinely messing with the lives of academics. It's a universal anxiety.
So when we're facing all that pressure, what do? We look for a simple answer, right? A straightforward rule we can follow to make the decision easier. And it seems like the system has one ready for us.
And here's that common advice we've all gotten a million times. Just aim for the top. Go for the journals with the highest impact factor, the best rankings. You know the drill. It sounds so logical, doesn't it? The best work belongs in the best journals. But what if that simple answer is built on a really shaky foundation?
And this is where we get to the core of the problem. According to Fernandez, these metrics we're all obsessed with, they're not reality. They're just partial abstractions. They're simulations that can't possibly capture all the unique, specific details of different research fields. So treating them like a universal yardstick for quality, that's where things get really distorted.
You know, this whole focus on metrics is really just a symptom of a much bigger disease in academia, a cultural pressure that I'm sure you know all too well. The publish or perish trap. And it's a nasty, vicious cycle. It starts with this insane career pressure. Suddenly, publishing isn't about sharing new ideas anymore. It's just about adding a line to your CV. That obsession with quantity turns science into a numbers game, a business. And of course, that opens the floodgates for predatory journals that are more than happy to take your money for a quick and often meaningless publication. So if the whole system is warped and the metrics are kind of an illusion, well, our original question, where should I publish? It starts to feel a bit meaningless, doesn't it? Maybe, as Fernandez argues, we've been asking the wrong question this whole time. Okay, this is where we make a really important shift. If where isn't the right question, we've got to find a better one. We need to take a step back and get to the root of our motivation. And here it is, this is the big reframe. Before we even start making a list of journals, we have to ask a much more fundamental question. Why are we publishing this in the first place? Because honestly, the answer to that question changes everything. When you answer why, your perspective just flips. You stop thinking about metrics and career climbing, and you start seeing science for what it really is. Not some cutthroat competition, but a massive, ongoing conversation. There's this fantastic concept called the dialogic construction of knowledge. It sounds complicated, but it just means that science isn't a static book of facts. It's something we build together, through talking, arguing, debating, and building on each other's work. Publishing, then, is simply how you join that conversation. Think of it like this. When you submit your paper, you're not just sending an email with an attachment. What you're really doing is making a request to belong. You're raising your hand and saying, hey, I see the conversation you're all having. I think I have something to contribute. Let me in. It's about finding your place. And that's why validation has to come from the right community. Not just any community. It has to come from the people whose work you admire, the ones you want to engage with. It's their recognition from your peers that truly counts, not some abstract number in a database. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? Find your community. But how do you actually do that? Well, here's the good news. If you've done your research properly, you already know the answer. The answer has been hiding in plain sight this whole time. You know that literature review, that state-of-the-art chapter you labored over? That's not just some boring requirement. It's your treasure map. Just think back. While you were doing that review, you didn't just find facts, did you? You found people. You figured out who the major players are. You saw the big debates, the new ideas. And, most importantly, you saw the journals and the conferences where these conversations were happening over and over and over again. That's it. That's your community. And that is the beautifully simple answer. Once you stop chasing abstract metrics and instead focus on joining the right conversation, the question of where just solves itself. You publish where your community is. You publish where you belong. So I'll leave you with this one last, pretty provocative thought from Fernandez.
He suggests that if you look at your own work and you can't identify that community, if you can't see the conversation from your own lit review, that might be a red flag that the research itself has a problem. It's a challenging thought, but a good one to ask ourselves. Is our work truly in conversation with our field?
Everything we talked about today was inspired by this fantastic editorial. If any of this resonated with you, I really recommend you check out the full source. Thanks for joining me.